Hey, how's it going, guys? Happy Tuesday, and I am back with the whole wheat Pullman pan sandwich bread. I'm using Noreen's recipe for her whole wheat sandwich bread, and we're gonna put it in the Pullman pan. I loved how it turns out. We'll have to cut off a little bit of the dough, but that's fine for me because I just make a couple of little bread rolls to go with it, and you can kind of munch on those as your sandwich bread cools before you cut into it. So let me show you how I make this. It's phenomenal. I do add some flaxseed to it, which I think just it tastes so good. I really think you guys are gonna like this, especially those who are looking for a whole wheat recipe for the Pullman pan that you can use for your kids' sandwiches. All right, so here we go. 2 cups warm water. Make sure it's about the same temperature as you would make a baby's bath water. Okay, then I'm adding 1 tablespoon of instant yeast. I use the SAF brand, SAF. I love it. To me, it is the best. All right, to this, we're adding a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Okay, we're also gonna add a 1/2 cup of honey. Okay, then to this, we are gonna add 3 cups of our whole wheat flour. I'm using white whole wheat because it's a little lighter, and my kids just like the taste better. So, 2. I gotta get this in a jar. I hate getting flour out of the bag. It drives me crazy. 3. Okay, and then we're also gonna add 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, I like to add a whole 1/2 cup of powdered milk or milk powder. Noreen's recipe calls for a 1/4 cup. I just like the way it turns out with a 1/2 cup. I accidentally threw in a 1/2 cup one time when making this recipe, and it worked out really well. So I just kind of kept it in there. So 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup, it's up to you, but you need to add some powdered milk in there. Okay, and then we're also going to add a 1/4 cup of instant potato flakes. I'm using the Idahoan brand. I'll show you right there. That's what I'm using. So a 1/4 cup of that also goes in. We're then gonna need 1 tablespoon of salt, and we are gonna add in 2 tablespoons of Vital wheat gluten. I will leave a card up in the corner of where you can find it in your grocery store, along with the milk powder for your breads. And then a quick scan over here. I am adding a tablespoon of milled flaxseed to this. You can leave that out. You do not have to add it if you do not want to. It's totally up to you. But I am adding it. So, again, this needs to go in a jar. I cannot stand getting things out of a box. So, heaping tablespoon of milled flaxseed. All right, then we're just gonna lift this up. And, oh, it would help if I plugged in my mixer. All right, and then we're just gonna turn this on. I use the level 2 on my Pro stand mixer. And I'm just gonna let this blend together. Okay, so once it's all mixed, I like to, because my KitchenAid does not like whole wheat, I like to take it out of the bowl, and I have to hand knead it over here. And finish it off. So there's my dough ball, and I have videos on how I hand knead So on bad days, I would not be able to make this bread because I have carpal tunnel and arthritis. But my KitchenAid just doesn't like heavy, dense, whole grain bread. So I'm gonna go ahead and hand knead this until my dough ball becomes nice and smooth, and then I will bring you guys back when I'm there. All right guys, so here is my dough ball. After a lot of exercise, I have strong arms after that. All right, so go ahead, spin it in the oil, flip it around, make sure it's nice and covered so it doesn't dry out. Then we're gonna let this rise for an hour, and in an hour I will come back and show you guys the next step. Okay guys, it's been an hour, and there's our dough. So there's really not a whole lot of punching down on wheat bread. But all right, so what we want to do, I'm just going to get my ruler out. Now I'm going to get my Pullman pan and measure it out. Make sure that my size is good. Okay, so I lightly greased my Pullman pan. And now what I'm going to do with this, you guys can see, is I'm just going to take some of this dough off. Okay, about a strip. Can't really give you a measurement, but that's what worked for me last time. Because I don't want this loaf, a 4-cup, my white bread was a 4-cup loaf. It was perfect. Now wheat bread doesn't, for me at least, in my experience, doesn't rise like white bread, but it does still rise. And I don't want it to ooze outside of my pan. So a lot of the recipes that I've read are 5 cups. This of course is a 6 cup, so that's why I'm taking off what I would consider about a cup. And I'm not going to throw this away. You can actually make this into little what I did, little dinner rolls, and just put it on a cookie sheet. So now that I've got my dough the size of my pan here, I'm going to go ahead and roll it up tightly. Okay, I'm going to pinch the best that I can. Wheat bread is definitely much different than white. That's why I say if you're new to making bread, start with white first. Just all-purpose flour. Get a feel for flour. Get a feel for making bread. And then once you've conquered all-purpose flour, move to bread flour because it's a little bit denser, but it's still easy to work with. And then from there, you can move on to wheats. Because if you've never made bread before and you're going right to wheat bread, you might be a little bit discouraged. Let's put it that way, because it's much denser and much harder to work with. And anyone who's made bread can confirm that. So We're just going to kind of pinch our ends together, sort of make it as pretty as we can. It's much different than white, but you at least want to pull that seam somewhat together here. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this right into my Pullman pan. Okay, as you see, fits beautifully. Now what I do is I press it down, tuck the ends under. To me, it just gives you a prettier end. If you've noticed my bread, you know, I post pictures on Instagram and all that. If you look on there, I think the ends of my bread are usually pretty. You know, they're not gorgeous, but they've definitely improved over the years of making bread. Because in the beginning, my bread was pretty ugly. So now that I have it pressed into the pan, as you can see, all right, we are going to go ahead and put the lid on. All right, now put this back in a warm place. Now, instead of letting this rise a half hour like we would white bread, we're going to let this rise about 45 minutes. It's going to need that. In the meantime, what I do is I'm just going to get out, let me move my bowl here. I'm going to get out a cookie sheet, and with this strip, just kind of cut it in half, and then from there, I'm just going to kind of cut it up. And then when I have these little pieces here, and I'm just going to kind of pull in, pinch the bottom, and then kind of shape this. Almost like when you, or you can do it in your hand, kind of like when you make a meatball. Shape a little round bread roll. You can, if it'll focus. Just like that. So, but here are my little snackers for my kitties when they come home. And then my Pullman pan, I'm going to go ahead, turn on my oven to 350 degrees and let it preheat and warm up. Let this rise for 45 minutes, and I'll put it in the oven. And then I will be back when I take these out of the oven to show you guys what it looks like. Now, once I put these in the oven, after 45 minutes of rising, they're going to bake about a half hour. These, about 20 minutes. The bread, about 30-35 minutes, depending on your oven. Just, you know, you can just slide this open and take a look at your bread and see how it's doing. But last time was 30-35 minutes. These, of course, will cook much faster. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead and cover them up, take them over to the stovetop, let them sit on top of the warming oven, and I will see you guys back, well, in about an hour and a half or so. All right, bye, guys. Okay, guys, so I just pulled it out of the oven so that you can see it when I open it. So there we go. All right, so let me put the lid over here, and hopefully you guys can see all of this here. All right, so I'm going to flip it out of the pan. And there it is. Get it back over. And there it is. So As you guys can see, the ends are very pretty. The top, now it doesn't rise as square on the top as, say, the white bread, but it still comes out beautiful in my opinion. There it is. Alright guys, if you guys give this recipe a try, let me know, especially if you get your Pullman pan, because I know a lot of you are ordering Pullman pans out there, and I'm super excited for you guys, because I think you guys are going to love this. I absolutely love this pan. I cannot make enough sandwiches, and that's it. Alright guys, I'm going to edit this and get this up for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.